We'll call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. This evening, Brawley City Council meeting, the successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. This is our special meeting this evening because we moved it from the usual third Tuesday to this Monday to accommodate some city travel. So welcome, everyone. Could we get the roll call, please?
The minutes will reflect all council members present.
Very good, and I can defer to Councilmember Hamby for the invocation. Could we please stand?
All right, let's pray. Gracious God and Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you again tonight for this opportunity to serve our community. We ask that you would help us to guide our city with wisdom. We ask that you would continue to fill our ranks in each department with people of integrity, with people of a heart for our community to see the best things in our future. We ask that you would continue to keep our city safe, that you would watch over our police and fire department and every department in this jurisdiction. Lord, we ask that you would bring about peace and prosperity in our community. We have a lot of our community members that are facing difficult times, and we ask that you would just bless our community and bring us all up. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And if Councilmember Nava can lead us in the pledge, please.
Certainly. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, my fellow council members, Nava and Hamby, for the invocation and the pledge.
You're welcome.
We'll move to our first item here, which is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we'll move to our first item. First item on the agenda is the public appearances and comments. This is not to exceed 4 minutes, and it's the time for the public to address the council on any items that are not appearing on the agenda and is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you when you come to the microphone, so please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council, and I'll open up. Does you have any public comments? Please step forward. Alrighty, no one's rushing up, so we'll go to still under public appearances and comments. We have an introduction here, item A, and I'll have, if I can have our Public Works Director, Guillermo Silas, come on up for some introductions.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Guillermo Silas, Public Works Director. It is my pleasure to introduce to you first Mr. Jared Jaramillo. He graduated from high school and took some college courses. He studied water and wastewater technology at Sacramento State Water University, Office of Water. Mr. Jaramillo started to work as a general laborer for Acme Staffing for about 1 year. He worked for the city of Westmoreland as a wastewater treatment plant operator for about 4 years. Later on, he accepted a position with the Heber Public Utility District as an operator in training and worked there for about 1 year. In 2014, Mr. Jaramillo accepted a position to come back with the city of Westmoreland, where he has been working for the last 5 years as a deputy chief operator for the water treatment plant and wastewater treatment plant. Mr. Jaramillo holds certification as water treatment operator grade T3, water distribution operator D1, and wastewater treatment operator 3. Please welcome Mr. Jared Jaramillo as the new water treatment plant operator 3 for the city of Brawley.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Councilman. Just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to come out and greet you guys tonight. Look forward to my career here, providing service for the community that I grew up in, and I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Congratulations
Welcome.
to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, usually, hopefully this is the hardest part right here, right? We come do this, but no, we appreciate that as always. We've been on a roll here, so really good to see you in this position. And certainly, it looks like you put in the time learning the craft and getting the appropriate certifications. So again, congratulations. And their comments from council.
No, congratulations. It's really good to see that you have experience with other cities, so that'll bring also something to this particular job. We're happy to have you, and we're glad you're a native of Brawley, and you'll enjoy, you won't complain about the weather. Congrats.
Super.
Yeah, welcome on board, and glad we stole you from Westmoreland.
They're not.
Oh, I'm sure, I'm sure.
I'll bet. Some good things can come out of Westmoreland.
Yeah.
I can speak from experience.
There you go.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
All the city departments are important, but water delivery is one of our most important.
Yep.
And it's very critical that we get the right water and the adequate water out to everyone in the city. So I'm looking forward to having you work with us, and congratulations on the position.
Thank you.
And final congratulations here, but certainly you've worked up the ranks and you've got experience with other water districts and with the city of Westmoreland. So congratulations on the advancement. And I know it's we're all small communities, but this is certainly maybe a much larger system than the other communities where you've worked. So congratulations to you and your family. I know you'll do well, and welcome aboard here.
Thank you.
Okay, continue with the second introduction. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Jorge Valle. He graduated from high school at CETIS University in Mexicali with emphasis in health sciences. He studied at Autonomous University of Baja California when he graduated as a physician and holds a degree as a surgeon and obstetrician. He studied water and wastewater technology at Sacramento State Water University Office of Water. Mr. Valle started to work at Walmart in 2005 and worked there for about 11 years when he moved to the City of Holtville wastewater treatment plant to work as an operator in training for about 2 years. Then he accepted a position as a lead operator in the water treatment plant where he has worked since 2016. Mr. Valle holds certification as water treatment operator grade D3, water distribution D2, and wastewater treatment operator 3. He recently passed the exam for D3. Please join me to welcome Mr. Jorge Valle.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, members of the council, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity of joining this team at the water treatment plant. I will work hard for the benefit of the city, the community, and my family. That is my commitment. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Mr. Gonzalez, we're going to make you stand there if you don't mind for a couple more minutes. But no, it's a pleasure to have you here, and congratulations on behalf of the city. And I'm sure my fellow council members will also echo that. But again, impressive background too. So we're fortunate to have the talent that we do have, and great job, Guillermo, in finding that talent. I think over the past few months, filling some very important positions. So again, welcome to the Brawley family, and I'll open up to council.
Just congratulations, Dr. H2O. That's good, And so, no, seriously, I appreciate your background and the education from CETIS and the other university work that you've done. So congratulations on that. But you've also spent, many years in the private sector, like at Walmart, for example, where you interact with a lot of people. And this job isn't as interactive with the public as others, but it's still very important quality to have, your education, customer service skills, and all those sorts of things. So congratulations to you and your family. I wish you well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome on board. We appreciate you joining our team, and it is impressive to see the education that you have, because it says that you stick to a project once you start on it, and so we're grateful to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Yes, congratulations. As I indicated, very important positions, and we look forward to having you work here with us at the City of Brawley, or continue to work with us at the City of Brawley, and we're looking forward to great things.
Thank you.
I too want to congratulate you and impressed also with your education, and I think you're going to bring a lot to this particular field with your varied background. So, and I imagine that you learned your other occupation in Spanish, and then you had to learn the English language, correct? So that's also impressive, and thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to a great career here for you in Brawley.
Great. Final round of applause for these gentlemen. Thank you. Very good. We're in great
Thank you.
hands. Those of you, again, following along with the agenda, we're going to move out of our public appearance and comment section, and we're going to move to item 2, our consent agenda. These items are approved in one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items to be considered separately or at a time determined by the mayor. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the consent as written.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, move to the next item. Item 3, which will be a public hearing. And this public hearing, the council shall hear comments from all interested parties or persons on the issue of whether or not to impose the terms of the city's last, best, and final offer made by the Teamsters Local 542, and that's following the exhaustion of impasse procedures. And what I do ask is any of the members of the public that are going to come up and make comments, this is the opportunity, obviously, to do that. Once the public hearing is closed, we're going to move on with regular business. And at that time, I'm going to kind of impose the fact that when we do move to that at that time, I wouldn't open it up to further public comment unless it's really different or pressing. So unless you have some different issue to bring forward. So this hearing, we're going to open it up, is the opportunity wide open. Please come forward and state your name. And this public hearing is open.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and council members. My name is Mike Morales. I'm the Teamsters 542 representative and also the representative of the miscellaneous employees at the City of Brawley, which is wastewater, water, animal control, your city mechanic, your utilities, and your parks. I was kind of surprised to see this on the agenda. On September 24th, we had our mediation meeting with the city of Brawley to try to come to an agreement, because this has been a pretty long, exhaustive process. And Teamsters has worked in good faith, negotiated in good faith, made considerable amount of movement to try to reach an agreement and to try to avoid getting to this where we're at right now. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And speaking on behalf of the employees, they are pretty adamant and in disagreement of having a 2-year agreement imposed on them. Okay, there's quite a few things that we moved on to try to come to an agreement. What we even proposed was to leave everything status quo and just roll over the contract for another year. Okay, and at that point we would sit at the table again and try to hopefully reach an agreement that would be more than the term of 1 year. But nevertheless, we met on the 24th of September for mediation, and even a week after that, I reached out to the mediator, Jerry Fletcher, or Fetcher, I'm not sure, and tried to make even some more proposals, some more movement. But the city wasn't willing to make any movement or consider our proposals. And at this point, we have made prior to going into mediation, I notified the city that my intent was to go to impasse, to go into fact-finding. But after reading carefully the PERB procedures and regulations, I had the option of going into mediation. So I chose to go to mediation. That's not waiving impasse or fact-finding. That's just one avenue that maybe we could utilize, and maybe come to an agreement. So I have been trying to reach any or go any option I can get to avoid being at this point. And now, reading the PERB hearing, it's 30 days to request to go into mediation, 45 days to go into impasse. Okay, so I don't believe we're at that point yet. I don't think we have exhausted the 45-day time limitation. So what I am asking the council to do is to allow the procedure to continue so that we can go into impasse, which would be the process of fact-finding, where the two parties would state their agreements and present their supportive information as to why they believe their position is the right position. At that time, then it comes to this point where the council at this point would then vote whether to impose or not impose. So that is why I'm here. On behalf of the employees, they have some concerns, and initially we had requested a 5% increase, which we have moved considerably off of that to the point where we even proposed just a COLA. I think it's fair for employees to at least get a COLA. You know, they are the backbone of the city. The cost of living is going up. You know, food, utilities, gas, and they're just falling behind. They're falling further and further behind. They also have many times not been able to respond to overtime or demands after hours. Management is stepping in and taking in over a lot of that work. So that's another income that would supplement their income, and that has been taken away. So really don't think even going to the point of asking for a cost of living is unreasonable. But nevertheless, we're here discussing whether you impose the last best and final that the city has offered or not, and I'm asking you guys to allow the process to continue. We'll do our fact-finding, and then at that point, if we can't come to an agreement, then it's in your hands after that point. Okay, that's what I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. Any additional comments? All right, want to make sure seeing none. I'm looking at everybody. I will, at this point, I will close the public hearing. We do have a comment from Mike Morales representing Teamsters, and those have been noted, of course, for the record, and I'm sure by my fellow council members. So we're going to move out of the public hearing, which is now closed, and go to regular business. And the first item is item A, and this will be a discussion and potential action to adopt resolution number 2019. That's the resolution of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, imposing the terms of the city's last, best, and final offer made to the Teamsters Local 542 following the exhaustion of impasse procedures. It'll backup material on page 41. From there, we'll pretty much outline many of the steps over the past several months as far as the negotiations with Teamsters, speaking to some of the points that Mr. Morales brought up. And what I'd like to do at this time is open up the discussion amongst council here. Do we have any questions, comments? And maybe we can kind of go down the list. I don't know if we have any, but maybe with Councilmember Hamby starting down there, do you have any questions?
I guess my only comment in this particular topic, because this is kind of my first time through this particular procedure, I just have to say I'm disappointed and frustrated with how long it has taken us to get to this point. You know, we're in October. Am I understanding incorrectly that negotiations are supposed to happen at the end or toward the end of a fiscal year so that stuff is wrapped up, so that we can finish up the budget before the end of the fiscal year? Is that how that's supposed to work? So it's just, I don't understand why it has taken, 4 or 5 months, taken us 4 or 5 months later than what it should have. And I really hope that whatever the outcome of this is, that in the future, hopefully we can wrap this stuff up sooner, because it just puts the whole process behind, and everything is up in the air then. It makes it hard to keep the city moving forward, and that's my only comment on it.
I would just add to that. I mean, the reason we haven't come to that conclusion is just because we haven't agreed. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
There hasn't been agreement between the represented group and the city. So it's just a matter of time. What I would just want to get clarification on, there was a statement made by Mr. Morales with respect to the timeline.
Yes.
Can you
Sure. So
clarify that for us?
the government code provides that if either side requests mediation and there's agreement to engage in mediation, which Teamsters requested mediation, we brought a city council, you said, yeah, that's great. So we agreed to it. The government code provides that that the fact-finding cannot occur until 30 days. You cannot make a request for fact-finding until 30 days after a mediator has been appointed. Mediator was appointed by PERB on August 27th. And then between 30 days and 45 days, the bargaining unit can request fact-finding. The 45th day was October 11th. So now we're at the end of impasse procedures. There's nothing else to do. To request fact-finding, you have to file a request with PERB. And if you file it late, they just reject it. So there won't be fact-finding. You could take action and say, yeah, go ahead and try to fact-find. PERB will say no. So that's the end of it. So we're at the end of the impasse procedures. There's nothing else to do.
So for clarification then, which that's pretty clear, it appears a little bit of a misunderstanding of these dates. The fact that, as you mentioned, it's PERB, it's not us deciding the length of these periods.
Right, Mr. Mayor, when PERB appointed a mediator, the mediator sent the Teamsters in the city a letter saying, I'm your mediator. I was appointed on August 27th. Here's the timeline. 30 days, 45 days, and cited the government code section. There's a PERB case on point where a bargaining unit requested fact-finding on day 45, but they waited until after close of business. They did it at 7 p.m. and PERB rejected it. Said, no, it's at 5 o'clock we close, that's it. We're not going to do fact-finding. So we're at the end. PERB won't consider their request unless it's been made prior and we don't know about it, but they're supposed to serve us with that request.
So it's out of this council's hands?
It's out of your hands.
Okay. Are there questions, comments? I know there were some other.
That was my only concern.
Mine
And
too.
that answers my question.
And I actually looked at the calendar and counted the days just to make sure that, so that expired on October 11th?
Yes, at 5 o'clock.
Okay. Well, I think that was important, obviously, and without maybe further ado, obviously, this council's, we've been a part of these discussions, most of which obviously have occurred in closed session, and maybe echoing some of the frustrations, not the result any of us want to see us get to this point. But none of this, again, I think we echo our support of our staff on virtually every council meeting. And I think it's even echoed beyond that, how important it is on a day-to-day basis that, we and our citizens acknowledge that. But with that said, moving forward, unless we have any other comments, I'm looking for some action here so we can move forward, which I think, for better or for worse, we've got to press forward in the interest of the city and in the interest of certainly the employees and our team members that are affected by this. So do we have a motion?
Just as a point of clarification for our city attorney, if we were to make this motion made the motion that's adopted, it's just going to impose the best and final terms on the, am I correct? Yeah.
Right,
So-
you-
And we've exhausted the other efforts, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
And I would ask whoever makes a motion if they can include that in the motion.
Right, okay.
Of the last
I'll
name
make the
asked.
motion. I know we've gone back and forth on this item, but I'll make the motion to approve resolution of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, imposing the terms of the city's last, best, and final offer made to the Teamsters Local 542 following exhaustion of impasse procedures. And I'll wait for the second on that.
All right, there's a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Call for the question here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None. Motion carries. We'll move forward from there to our next item. Next item is 4B. This will be discussion and potential action regarding the Brawley Assembly of God's request to waive the application of $500 for the minimum road closure fee for the Fall Festival on October 30th, 2019. Backup materials on page 47 through 50.
You just said what I was going to say.
There we go.
They're
Do we
going to
have
have a party. They want to close the ends of the street. There is actually a map in the backup material. And the calculations as to how much it cost is there. The council has adopted a recovery process where we've been charging everybody the minimum $500 for road closure, even if it costs more than that. And Pastor Clausen has requested that you consider offering the a waiver of the fees for the church. When I spoke to him on the phone last week, he said you'd done it last year, and I tried to explain that this year we haven't had the waivers that we did last year. So that's pretty much it. They're having a fall festival as an alternative to Halloween, which is really fun. I think they still have pumpkins and straw bales and cider that looks like other beverages, but they're requesting their waiver of fees for road closure.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. And in case you have any questions, I'll hold you right there. Any questions or concerns, comments from council?
Well, just a concern, I've had a response from some people that have already paid the $500 fee that are nonprofits, and they said if they're going to pay it, they would expect everyone to have to pay it. I tend to agree with that, only in the sense that I don't like, charging the church for having their event. But I also, if we've charged other people, I think we have to be consistent. We either have to charge everybody a minimum amount, or maybe more if we're doing nonprofits where they close streets, or for profit if they close streets. Not the nonprofits, I think we should charge the minimum. And I'm concerned that if we start piecing this out, we'll charge this one but not this one, then we run into problems with that. So I think we have to be consistent, and we have to either charge or not charge. And so we have that choice to make as a council, I think.
Very good.
I would agree with that, and I've heard, I just attended actually an event where last year we closed the road for them, and this year we advised them that there would be a fee, so they chose to hold the event indoors, so they would save that money.
Right.
But we did not consider waiving that amount. So like Sam says, I think we need to be consistent. That's our new policy. And, we do spend more than that $500, so the city is still having considerable expenses. And unfortunately, the city cannot afford to continue waiving these fees. That's my opinion.
Just additional.
Thank you.
I think that since we're imposing these things on our employees, I think we have to look at how we recover at least some fees from all of this. And so I think that's important, that it doesn't matter who it is, it's just that the city has to be more fiscally aware of what we're charging and what we're not. And also, I think, though, this closure is a little bit off the main area, so it's probably less likely to cost as much. However, it is still a street closure, although it's not as well traveled a street closure as, say, the closures on Main or the Plaza or whatever. I think that poses even additional costs for us. I'm not saying we need to impose those, but I'm saying that this is a little bit less time, I think, inclusive and a little bit less dangerous than maybe the street closures down here, I think.
One of the challenges with this particular closure is that the activity for the closure, because it's next to the high school site.
Yes.
The proposed time of day that the activity is going to occur is after school is already out and after our employees are already off for the day.
Okay, so
So
it
we'll
is-
install the safety features.
So we have an additional cost.
It's almost
related to that.
$1,200, it says in the
For
back.
that, yeah, I saw that. Yes,
Very good.
okay.
Is there
Yeah,
discussion?
No, I'm in agreement with that. We have to be consistent.
Is there a motion to deny the request? Nobody wants to say that?
Yeah, I'll move to
There you
deny the
go.
request.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any nay votes? No abstentions. So this motion did not carry, was denied. We'll move off of item B. We'll move to item C, which is discussion and potential action to approve contract with Bechtel Wastewater Engineering for professional engineering services in the amount of $185,450 and not to exceed a total sum of $234,650 with extensive backup material, pages 51 through 69. And we have our Public Works Director.
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor, members for the council. Guillermo Sillas, Public Works Director. This item is related to the industrial activity that you have been receiving information recently about the notices of violation, the copper exceedances, the PMH, one word beef renewal of the permit, the assessment of as a potential significant industrial user of 5 crowns, and all that is related to industrial pretreatment program consulting with Bechtel wastewater engineers. The most important task that is among these that I mentioned is the local limit study that is mandated by the state or EPA every 5 years. So we are right now performing that study that was authorized by council last year. And as part of that study, it is required to do sampling and analysis. That we are facing more challenges now because the local laboratories are not either certified or not performing those type of tests. And most of the increase for this year in this study is the sampling and analysis cost, which is about $123,000. So that's the reason to request an increase or an amendment to the original contract of Bechtel Engineers to include these additional tasks that are due to these modifications on the significant industrial users.
Okay.
Any questions that you might have? You have the amount that is an increase in $180,000 approximately, for a total of $234,650.
Thank you for that. And I know also in the backup material, a summary explanation of the tasks, the amounts, and even a detailed report on even labor, man hours of each task, each objective, with the associated amounts. So definitely that was very helpful to have that. So I'll open it up. Any questions or comments for Guillermo?
No real questions. I think this is an important move for us to make. I think we need to do this in order to get this out of the way, and it helps several of our industrial users be able to work through the wastewater type situation, and also, helps them with their industrial pretreatments and all of that. And so I think it's an important thing. We pretty much have to do this, and I think by having an expert come in and help us with this, I think that's important to the city also. So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd also like to just comment that it's also a precaution for the city because we've been fined and we need to make sure that that doesn't continue and then we don't get fined again. So we have to do what we can to make sure that the system is working properly and use the companies or engineers that would be able to detect and be able to make the proper corrections so that the city is not affected negatively.
I also think it's important that the public know that it comes out of the wastewater treatment fund.
Right.
for the payments on this, and that's specifically set aside for that. And we can't spend that just on anything. It has to be spent on things related to wastewater, and so that's important.
Right, and I'd like to add a comment if I could. I think sometimes there's just a little bit of a negative connotation to this as well. That somehow, some way, this is focused just on our significant industrial dischargers, but really, frankly, it isn't. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to not only work with our partner organizations in industry here in the city. I think it's one of the things that make the city of Brawley so different is that we do have unique industry here. We're very fortunate. I always point out the fact that we have a healthcare district within the city limits. We have a significant, beef producer, or not just producer, but fabricator and industry here, which certainly we all know is the number one ag commodity in the valley. So these are important things. I think a significant part of this is part of the pre-treatment, the local limit study, something we have to do anyways. But the other thing is by reevaluating, I think we can look at the amounts. My understanding from our past discussions around this is that it can adapt to today's capacity of our waste treatment system. So there could be situations where this adapts really, somewhat to the favor of the discharger as well. It's not just a one-way road.
Right. There's no negative connotation in to spend money on industrial related. It's just that it's the cost to do business.
Yep.
So we have these industries that we have the obligation to analyze and sample and regulate. It's just it costs money. And as you said, the local limit study will restudy the capacity of the plant and can redistribute the allocation for the new and the existing industry that we're modifying the operation, so that can be maximized the capacity of the plant, and other industries can participate in the allocation of limits. So it is a positive, but it costs money.
Exactly, and that's an important point, and it's all part of not only the investment, but I think as citizens in the business community, rest assured, these are the type details that the city of Brawley spends quite a bit of time, and obviously, as you can see here, the resources to make sure that we're not only making it right, but we're looking toward the future and making sure that at the same time we're working very closely with our industry. So thank you. Any other questions or comments on this topic? If not, looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion.
To approve the contract with Bechtel Wastewater Engineers for professional engineering services in the amount of $185,450 and a total not to exceed sum of $234,650.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to our next item, item 4D on the agenda, which is discussion and potential action to approve the deposit of $761,700 in development impact fees for the streets payable to the Imperial Irrigation District for the construction phase of the Bess Canal Pipeline Phase 1 project. Backup materials on pages 70 through 84. And we have Mr. Silas here on this topic.
This project is related to the previous grant approved and that the city was able to secure and to do the design and construction of a Wildcat segment between Western Avenue and First Street, the south half of the street. And as you all know, there's a Bess Canal that is on that location, and those expenses are not eligible to be included on the grant, and the city knew since the beginning that it's something that had to cover with its own funds. So we completed, or better said, the IID completed the design. We already paid for that. Now is the time to pay for the construction. We are just waiting for authorization to provide the final documents to the IID for them to move on with the construction. They already inform their board, so they know what is that this project is coming. And they even scheduled it for December 26th to the 20th of this year to do the installation of this pipe to underground the canal. So the item is to ask for authorization to do the expenditure on this construction process so they can finalize and continue with the construction as scheduled. Any questions that you may have?
Guillermo, couldn't you please repeat the date for construction activity?
December 16th to the 20th
Okay.
this year.
So 4 days the canal will be out of service?
Yes.
Yeah, if I may.
Yeah.
I attended the IID meeting when this was given to their board as an informational item the other day, last week, and they have some really quick turnaround times, and it's our requirement to have this money put on deposit with them, write them a check, in other words, and then they will proceed with scheduling up that construction. I think the reason why they did that in December, maybe there's not as much need for the water. They can take the canal out of operation for 4 days or whatever that is, and then they can go ahead and get this done very quickly. So I think they were very positive. They didn't vote on it in that way, but it was clear that everybody on the IID board was in favor, and we do appreciate their assistance with this and what they're doing. I think in this case, we're paying for it. In some of the other phase two, I think they're going to be more responsible for some of that. And so, but we do appreciate working with them on this item.
Just another comment. This project is the first step, let's say, to the street construction. So we need to have this one to be able to construct the street, that we have the grant and we are limited in time. So we have this window with the IID to do it in December because it looks like it's the only time that they can do it. And after that, so we need to move forward with our project because we are limited in time with our grant too, with Caltrans.
Okay. So.
Just one other point of reference for council. Wildcat Drive is actually designated in the development impact fee justification study for the city. So when we have to report out annually or on a 5-year basis for the use of those funds, there's no problem with this being an eligible project. And as a result of some of the reshuffling that we were able to do, seeking and securing funds for other high priority roadways, we were able to free up some of these dollars to use for this particular project and for subsequent phases for the portions of work which may not be eligible as a result of grants.
Perfect. And I think with that, I'll just echo the complexity of not just this phase, but of this entire project. When you really kind of zoom out, there's many aspects of this that are really forward-looking and really going to open the city of Brawley up to some of the future plans that we've been discussing for many, many years. So I would like to add in for the record my extreme gratitude to all the stakeholders that have helped to make this happen, and including, no question, staff, but also whether it be developers, Imperial Irrigation District, interested parties, stakeholders, organizations. It's been a big lift, but it's pretty exciting to see that we're at this point and about to make this decision. So, any other comments from council?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Fantastic, exciting. Thank you very much, Mr. Salas, for that. And that'll bring us to our last regular business item, which is item E, discussion and staff direction for a potential special meeting and date for the city council reorganization. And
Mayor Wharton, this item was listed, there's 2 parts to it. The first, maybe, I'm going to look to our finance director to help with discussing the need for a potential special meeting date in the month of October. And then the second part is really about the council reorg meeting and what the availability of council is for all 5 to participate in a meeting where that takes place.
very good.
Okay, as far as the audit is concerned, little history for this last week. The partner in charge with Eat Bailey, the auditing firm, came down on Friday, and we met and had a long discussion on audit progress through the weekend, Sunday communications, and as well as today to stay on track. And what was decided was that the city will have an issued audited financial statement the week of the 21st. So we're looking for potential special dates towards the latter part of that week for potential adoption of the audited financials.
The week of the 21st.
I think for me, and I know everyone's got to chime in here, but just immediately because of my work challenges, the early part of the week will be tougher, but you said later anyway, so the 24th or 25th would be a couple of options that I could have myself. And this is for the one item special meeting, so I
If
would
we had,
assume-
if it's council's preference to keep it short, we can, or if you're open to us
Other
adding in other items,
yeah.
if they're ready to go, we'd be happy to take advantage of the meeting date for other items if you're open to it.
I could do the 24th, but it would have to be a 6 PM. I couldn't do an earlier. I have a meeting in the afternoon, too.
Okay.
That's fine.
I
From
could
a staff
probably
point of view,
do
we're open.
The 24th, I don't think I can do the 25th. And there may be something going on that week, I'm not sure, on the 24th or 25th. I know I'm busy with something on the 25th, I won't be able to meet in the evening.
What about the 23rd?
I will be out
I'm
of town
still-
on the
You'll be out of town?
23rd.
Nashville.
I will be
Coming back.
at the doctor in San Diego for my wife.
24th in the evenings, the Imperial Valley Chamber Mixer.
That's the
Yes,
23rd.
That's the 23rd.
That's the 23rd.
23rd.
Unless
No,
we got
I have it
it.
on my. on the
We got it as the
23rd.
We have it
23rd.
as the
We got it as
23rd
the
here, too.
23rd.
Okay, we get a
but,
bad
On a
notice.
Wednesday.
Usually,
Yeah.
Wednesday,
We're talking
Wednesday, yeah.
about the Thursday is,
24th, I'm open as well.
And I'm open on the 24th also.
so 6 PM, it sounds like it's the date that could work best for all five of you. And do you have openness to additional items if they're ready to go to be
something's
added?
going on.
I do.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't see any
Hang
problem.
on just a minute.
Fantastic, so that's very helpful, thank you
Yeah, I
very much.
mean, but I would just try to keep them to
Yeah.
where they're limited items.
Pretty
you know.
non-
I've got a problem on the 24th, too. I've got another event.
Oh,
So
What time are
we
you
could do it
available?
earlier, if we could do it
We
earlier.
can't, right? What time
I have
can
a
you?
3 PM meeting in Holtville, but I can check with the rest of the board and see if they can shuffle
How
that
long do you
around.
think that meeting will take?
Well, it takes 9 hours to get back from Holtville, so.
Well, if it's a single subject meeting, it's less than an hour, for sure.
I could do 4:30, probably. I have a meeting at 6.
He
I have
has a meeting at 3 though.
6. He has a meeting at 3. Will you be done by
wow.
No,
4?
In between.
just to get back here in time, he won't be. yeah.
No, you can't do
If you
that.
do a 4:30, I can make it an hour meeting and just come straight here.
Could we do it during, well, we could do it during the day, but we usually want to have
So
it
I'll just
after
change your
people
schedules for
are work.
Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, change them for me, because either that or I just
Would you like
won't
to
be
do
there.
4:30? Would 4:30 work?
That works for me. I'm open.
That'll work.
I'll make it happen.
4:45,
Can
something
you
like
make
that. How about that?
Or
That gives you a
4:45
little
is
bit more
fine,
time
too. We'll try 4.
Between their
4:45.
Does that work?
schedule, I guess.
Yes, I can make it work.
Does that work?
Okay,
4:45?
okay.
That's an interesting time, but okay.
Go to the next one.
4:45
Next
for
week,
the special
too.
meeting, okay,
We
on
might
Thursday,
be-
and we will have the auditors present.
Yes.
Yes.
And, yeah, he will be here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and then for the city council reorganization, I know there has been a desire expressed to have all five council members present as the reorganization takes place. In the past, there have been kind of three possible arrangements. One is a standalone meeting that's only for reorg. Another is a piggyback on an existing regular meeting, city council meeting date, and with a break in between to have a small, maybe 20 to 30 minutes of a reception.
It would be December 3rd.
Or option three, to combine with the Angel Tea. Although this year, if that were an option, all five of you would not be present. So that sounds like that's
Yeah, we
not
don't
not
want-
going to
we
work.
wanna be
So
there.
From
We'd
my
all
own
rather be
experience, I would think if we just did it the day of the meeting in December,
We could do it
that
early
would be.
or
That's kind of
during.
been the,
Yeah.
That's
That's
been what
what
like
we've
we've
been
at the
following.
same time or to start earlier?
We've been following the same schedule, so at least for the past couple of
Okay.
years. So.
You want to start
That's fine.
early, though?
December
So
3rd.
Okay, so December 3rd at 6 PM for the reorg. Okay,
Okay,
fantastic.
One other issue I guess I should bring up. I would like to see us move the November 5th meeting, at least to another, maybe to that second week, only because we've got cattle call in the middle of all this, and I plan to perform, and so, I mean,
Okay, so the 5th is the first, that would be the
Whatever.
first, the regular date is the first Tuesday of the
yeah,
month?
that would be the 5th, but there's
we
the
can move
chamber mixture, cowboy poetry, the mariachi festival on the 6th, and all of that stuff on that week, so we could move to another day.
Or to an earlier time?
Earlier time might do it too, if we could be
We
done
did
in
it
that amount
earlier.
of time.
We just
yeah.
did it earlier
Like
last
at
year.
3?
I think
Gus?
so.
Yeah.
The following week, I'm out of town, so I wouldn't be able to move
Okay.
it.
And I don't like to change dates,
Okay.
to be quite honest
So
with
if we
you.
go
Yeah.
quite a bit earlier, I mean, I think
guys,
I think
how do
the thing at the Stockman starts at like 6, but.
6.
But if we could go early and we won't have, and, if we don't bog down on meeting.
So for the 5th, what could happen at the next meeting is you could continue to a special, a time otherwise set,
interfere
or
with
it could be,
social
Oh, no,
schedule.
you
right?
can't, that's what I'm into. Yeah, I've got a lot of
Would the
social
council like to see that meeting time at 3 o'clock earlier, or what is your preference?
I think if we went earlier last year, we can make that work. I mean, even if it was a 4, it's not going to make you,
PM?
too
No,
late to
no,
wake up.
I
But
should
yeah,
be okay
so
with
4
4.
p.m.
If there's,
If you want to do 4, I'm willing to go along with that. And then if I have to leave a little bit early, that'll be fine. It doesn't.
You're doing the cowboy poetry, is that what
Yes.
you do?
We don't want to interfere with
You
Sam's
can't interfere
social
with my
schedule.
social schedule. I have an important social schedule every day.
So
Forget city business.
perhaps one item to keep in mind, if that date will be really short, we will have an action item for budget adoption. That's probably not a suitable date for that to occur.
Okay. So we move
We
that.
could perhaps look at rolling to the next regularly scheduled date of, I think our regular meeting date is the 19th, if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, so the budget meeting will be the 19th.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
4 PM and 6 PM.
okay, does that settle that item?
Yes, thank you.
Item E? All right, we'll move forward to our next item on the agenda, department reports. We've got a couple of
Thank you.
items continuing that, again, Mr. Silas, our city engineer, public works director, will come up and report on.
Good evening. Again, regarding the projects on emergency, we have the first one is the water treatment plant sedimentation basin components replacement project. The emergency continues, and the last update is that on October 7th, the consultant Lee and Rowe sent out to the contractor comments to the submittal number 1, shop drawings, and requested confirmation of the field measurements, matching shop drawings, or otherwise provide revise those drawings. Any questions on that? Not much to report yet because construction has not started yet. The other project is the pump 422 and 423 rehabilitation. The emergency continues. Last week of October 7th, the water treatment plant chief visited the plant of Brack's company and observed the pump 422 deassembled. The impellers and other pump components arrived, and they are in the process of recondition the parts. That's all. Regarding the traffic signal installation at Main Street and Cesar Chavez, on October 1st, St. Francis Electric's crew completed the installation of the traffic loops, 4 on northbound through lanes and 4 northbound left turn. They brought them into the pull box and traced out the DLC and splice them. In other words, so they installed the loops on the ground, the circular cables, and then connected to the box, the temporary box that was installed. the existing loops were left abandoned in place. There was a problem detecting the northbound left turns due to an incorrect connection to the temporary cabinet. On October 7, a technician came back to fix the problem. Now the loops are detecting correctly and is working properly with loops and everything. So we are just waiting for the permanent cabinet to arrive to be installed around the end of November or first week of December. Any questions that you may have on those?
Any questions?
Were you able to see photos of the impellers and the innards of those pumps?
Yes. Yes.
Did they
Well,
look-
I didn't, but the water plant chief saw all the pieces there.
The tripas of the pumps?
Yeah.
All the tripas and everything. Yeah.
I'd love to see those because you showed us the ones from
On the previous,
yeah.
yes, I can forward those to you. I'm sure that they took many pictures of those.
Okay.
I don't know if city manager wants me to do an update on Allen Street.
Sure, if you're ready, that's fantastic.
Right. As mentioned before, to be able to work with less disturbance to the residents, we included on the design the installation of 2 temporary lines on each side of the street and the connection to the services to be able to work freely on the removal of the current line and the street. We completed the plans and we are in the process just to do the final review and prepare the cost estimates and also see if we can include some additional little projects that are in the city's negotiation and see if we can take advantage of this construction to include that and try to save some money on mobilization. Yesterday we had another water break at the same street. Fortunately, it was not like a major because the crew or the residents were able to inform and the crew was able to act quick. So it took them several hours to fix it, but it was not as disruptive as the previous one, but it continues. That's the same area with problems.
Just to piggyback on some of the comments on Allen Street, Guillermo and his team will be working up the cost estimates associated with the proposed project there. It will be, once those numbers are available, we'll come back to you to talk about the manner in which we might undertake this project. It will be a split between street-related funds that can be used and the water fund. But as you know, the water fund has some severe strains on it. And so there's some difficult trade-offs that will be a part of prioritizing this project under or in place of another project that we've been trying to hold a dollar sum in reserve for. So looking forward to those numbers being available to you, and perhaps we'll have kind of a project snapshot and a financing strategy that we bring to you at the next meeting, just as a heads up. And eventually we do have intentions to reach out to all the residents in that area and bring them up to speed as to what we're doing to permanently solve some of the challenges in that infrastructure. There's a reason for it to be prioritized as we keep going back to kind of work with the bones that are there. It really is not an actual solve to the situation. It's just pushing it to the next weakest place. So staff believes that a proper project that kind of closes this topic out for good will best serve the city's infrastructure and kind of the
Right.
short-term solutions
I
that are
think
occurring
they can't keep
with
going
each break along the way.
Just, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I may. I did receive a report from, well, there was a Facebook report last night that came
Okay.
on, and then I did receive a report from the residents that you guys did a good job and that they did not have any disruption, I don't believe, in their water service. They
Right,
said
no.
that their pressure went down a little bit, but they said they all continued to receive water. So I got a report today, and thank you for your crews responding so quickly and everything. I have a question about the temporary piping and how you're going to run that. down that street. Is it going to block their driveways? Is that
No.
something? No, it would
No,
not.
we're fortunate that there's no sidewalk, and the idea is to install it behind the curb and gutter, but since there's dirt, so it will be like probably half a foot below ground, but it won't be visible, let's say.
Okay.
And the water meters are adjacent to the curb and gutter, so it will be a short run from the line to the connection of the meter. Exactly, we don't know how it will be the connection because some of the meters will be on one side of the line and others will be behind. So, but I mean, we can do it. But driveways, we are thinking not to put it on.
Who are you sending to talk to the residents over there? Who will be talking to residents? Will you be going to talk to
Yes,
them?
we will inform. We will do a meetings, to let them know what is going to happen, the phasing, and
But you're
everything.
going, no?
So they will have all the information.
I think Miguel is a good representative. You could take him with you. And maybe Mono Fierro. I said Mono could go with you too. And I don't know if you know Ernie, but I assigned him as a community liaison for that street. Knowing all the problems that they've had. I mean, I want to keep the residents as happy as possible, and I know this is going to be a little bit of a disruption for them. And so, but I think they're willing, I think, now to go with something because they're having so many problems over there. So,
Right.
So hopefully we'll get this done.
Very good.
So how will you pass the temporary line under the driveways?
Most likely we will cut the driveway,
Oh, okay.
but it will be it's a 2 inches line. We have to cut them anyways.
Right.
We will remove the curb and gutter. We will remove everything. Just a small
The
section.
apron will, so it's the apron
Right,
outside
exactly.
of the dri-
I'm
the.
moving
all your
there.
friends live
Protect
I'm
it.
moving to Arizona.
Gotcha.
Can't you just go under it?
I'm sorry, what?
Could you just, water jet or whatever?
Water
to
jet
get-
under?
Probably, can
I've done that
can
before.
go underneath and.
For
yeah.
2 inches?
Yeah, I actually built something for that. Maybe it'll work.
If
Oh,
you
yeah?
can,
Yeah.
I would recommend that.
It's about
only
8 foot
because
long, and if
they're
you can
gonna-
do it like that,
They're gonna get
just blast
really
through it.
messed, they're gonna get freaked out if we cut through their driveways. I mean, I know they will,
not
but I
gonna
mean,
And honestly,
it may have to be
I wouldn't
necessary.
have
It
any
took-
clue.
5 minutes, 6 minutes. Because once the pressure starts, it'll blast through it. And, that might be something.
Good move, and
Yeah.
I think it would be better. If you
Anyway,
can do
food for
that,
thought.
I think that might be better.
Yeah, there's ways to.
Is it both sides of the street you'll be running pipes on?
Yes.
Okay. And it will be from the corner where Valerie Smith lives, all the way down, or will it run from
It's a
Rio
T-
Vista to West?
Or it's a L shape. We ended up with an L,
Yes,
not a T.
there's a hydrant on the northeast corner of El Cerrito and Allen, and there's another one on the southwest corner of Western and Allen.
Okay.
So from there, we're thinking to connect it to them. Might be somewhere else, but right now, I need to check the final plans, how
Okay.
we're included. But yeah, there's ways to do it. Or we can open a little hole on the street and connect it.
Okay, very good, okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Very
Okay.
good. Thank
I'll
you.
take my
Sign no
invention to
more.
you. I've used it before. I've done the same thing.
Yes.
I mean, just go under, yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
Well, I've seen it,
Yeah.
It just,
I've seen them do it.
you know,
I mean, I
and
know
it
they
just
do.
has the little pressure hose in the front. Open it up and it'll blast that hole through there pretty quick. So,
Okay.
anyway.
Very good. Well, thank you, Guillermo, thank you for the department report. We'll move to our next item, which will be informational report, which is included in our backup material. It is the attendance and summary of minutes for the city of Brawley, all our boards and commissions from July through September. And we'll take us to item 7, council member reports, and we'll begin with our mayor pro tem.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, on the 2nd, some of us were able to attend Los Cabos soft opening, and it was a fantastic meal. And I think it was primarily more of a private invite. It was mostly family, it seemed, and then we were the special guests, the city council and a few others. So we really enjoyed the evening. The owners are very gracious, very nice people. And my observation after the soft opening has been that there's been a lot of attendance. We already
Working.
went back one time just to try different items. And my daughter had her little group of birthday celebration there on Saturday night. So Everybody's been really, really happy, and they even had entertainment on Saturday night, so that's, I think his plan is to have entertainment, so. So far, all positive comments that I've heard, and including my family, so very happy with that place. And we, of course, wish it continued success. So if you haven't tried it, you need to get out there. Then I also attended, on the 7th, I attended the Film Commission meeting, and the report, Charlotte wanted me to apologize for her. She actually wanted to come in person to our meeting tomorrow. She had an obligation today, so I told her the meeting had been changed to a day earlier. Right, it should be picking up again, but she gave us some figures. The amount of money, economic impact for 2018 and 2019 was about $4 million in Imperial County. And then the big film, of course, that we probably all were aware of, that they filmed out there, was Jumanji. And I lost my opportunity to meet The Rock, unfortunately. It was too hot that day. And I was like, I wasn't sure if I really wanted to, but I had something else going. Otherwise, I would have gone. So they're planning a premiere party for Jumanji before the actual, it gets to all the theaters, so she'll be sharing more information on that. But this week, on Friday, the 18th, I think it's just their second annual film festival. They're having it out there at Ricochet. And she wanted to make sure that all of us were aware of that event. And of course, I know that there's so many things going on now, when October kicks in. So unfortunately, I will not be able to attend because I'll be heading back from Long Beach and I won't make it on time. But if anybody else is interested in attending, it should be a great event. They're going to have film and artwork, and they have a contest, a great presentation, and great dinner. So if anyone's interested in attending, I encourage you to attend. Let's see, and then I did attend the fire department open house on the 12th, and very well attended. I got to speak to a lot of the firemen out there, a lot of volunteers that came from the county, and then the explorers, and of course some of our own fire department, and some reserves. And I was really impressed with everybody. The reserves, some of the reserves are so excited about this job, and so it's really nice to see how much firemen love their jobs. I just, I never would have imagined it, really. I mean, I know people usually like what they do, but I talked to a few people out there that literally love it. So I thought, wow, this is great. So really enjoyed touring, the different, the helicopter that I plan to ride one of these days. And
Sitting up, right?
Sitting up, not like me laying down, right?
And just looking through all the equipment that's there, and the kids really enjoyed it. They were playing with a fire hose and all that, so it was a fun day for them.
I love you.
And then I also attended, on the same day, I attended the Hispanic of the Year award ceremony over at the Hidalgo Society, and 2 local business owners were the awardees this year. Gabriel Riboyar received the award from Brownies, and Liz Estrada with Events by Liz received the other award. And very well attended, and it was a good event in spite of the fact that there was several other things going on Saturday. And unfortunately, I didn't make it to the other event that I had planned to attend, but I think I managed to do quite a bit in those few days. That's my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll go to Councilmember Nava.
I'll pass for the time, just to keep it brief.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Well, Councilmember Couchman.
Okay. I attended Las Cobas soft opening. Very nice place. They've done a real good job with that restaurant. We wish them a lot of luck with that, and I think they'll do well. It seems like they're busy. I also attended the Phil Swing Walk to School with a variety of other individuals here in the room, and Donnie included, the mayor. And so we went to the Phil Swing Walk to School. That was a great event. I also attended Dr. Duong's grand opening out by the Gateway Church. He has a nice office out there. He's originally out of Orange County, Vietnamese, And he has got a great office, a great setup out there. And it was a very interesting event, and quite a few people there, and they served some food, and I think it was probably Vietnamese food. It was very interesting and good. I mean, it was good stuff, and we had a good time there. So they had a jumper for the kids and all that type of thing. I attended the fire station open house. That was a great event. A lot of people there. Reach was there in force. The fire, the police department, a variety of other people there helping out. And I think I scared McGruff, but other than that, we're all right. There was a couple, I won't mention what I did. Okay, and then the Harvest Bowl Ivy Food Bank, I was able to attend that. So I did attend the Ivy Food Bank Harvest Bowl. Great event, large attendance there at that event. And after that, I went to the Cattle Call Queen coronation, and I was able to make it there in time to see the Queen get crowned and the other young ladies that were part of that competition. And a lot of locals will be involved in that, so we'll see them all at Cattle Call. So those were great events.
Nice.
And with that, that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Councilmember Couchman. Councilmember Hamby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I forgot to mention at the last meeting that I was able to attend the Chamber of Commerce Board meeting toward the end of last month and just give a quick council liaison update. I got to attend the library board meeting this past Wednesday, and that's always exciting. And I want to thank Sam for filling in for me the last couple months. I haven't been able to attend that.
You're
welcome. Sam had complained to me about the fact that those meetings are like 3 to 4 hours long, but I just need to let you know that our meeting was about 2 hours or less.
That's usually how long
So I
they
think
are.
it's you.
It's me.
Yeah, I think it's
me.
you. When you go, you.
It's because
Nice
I'm
to
more
keep
interesting
talking.
than you are.
Oh.
That's it. More well-read, more interesting.
Okay.
All those kind of
You are their favorite customer. I know that.
I'm their favorite
They always
used
let me
book
know that.
customer, yes.
People have jobs, they typically go faster.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have to serve dinner, too.
That's true. Yeah, he brought fruit snacks, I think, that he took from the city council chambers.
No, I bought those myself. They were Halloween.
I attended the planning commission meeting. I also got to attend a walk to school event at Oakley with Mayor Wharton. He showed us all the proper way to walk to school, which is good.
Walk or run?
The kids walked slow enough for me to keep up, so that was good.
Shakes it like that.
Walk, right?
I attended and performed in a concert yesterday out at the Pioneer Museum. It was they called it the Winning of Imperial Valley, and it was very educational, historic in nature, and they combined the history of Imperial Valley through written word and poems and photographs, PowerPoint and with song. And so I got to sing a Johnny Cash song having to do with a flood called 5 Feet High and Rising. Among other things, I did play a little bit of violin while I was there too. I received various concerns from community members that I was able to forward on to management, and most of it having to do with finance. So Tyler's getting the brunt of everything this week, I guess. And I want to thank the finance department for all the hard work that they're doing in this audit process. And unless I'm mistaken, I believe it was George's birthday on Saturday. Is that right? Happy birthday, George.
Happy birthday, George.
Thank you, thank you.
55? Who said 55?
55. Sir, 56.
56? Oh, maybe
No,
you're
he
56.
no, he
43.
didn't. He's much
Are
younger.
you 42 this year? 43.
43.
All
Thank
right.
you.
34 if you put it backwards.
Yeah, if you put it backwards.
He's 29.
Yeah.
Except Sam. He's historic.
So that's
Well,
it
I
for
thought
my
when you were
report.
talking about like historical knowledge, you would just ask Sam. He was there.
Yeah.
So
I was
so I remember when it flooded.
He knew Phil Swing.
I know the
Yeah.
flood. I knew Phil Swing. Yeah, I know.
It's like the school? No, the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, all right.
We took cattle call. When I start talking about stories about Brawley, you guys are in trouble.
Thank you for the report. And maybe just with that, I'll, for the record, also add on, it's come to my attention that it is Councilmember Nava's anniversary coming up as
Oh,
well.
thank you.
Tomorrow. So it's
Yeah,
all that time here.
yeah.
So it's a special time of the year. But with that, I think much has been said. The only thing I want to add is I had the pleasure on Friday night go attend the pre-kickoff ceremonies at BUHS and was able to deliver a proclamation to Coach Jimmy Skipper,
Yes.
Brawleyite. Wasn't actually born here, but most of his years were here growing up, attending all Brawley schools. 30 years of coaching, 30 plus years of professional coaching, 18 years with the Carolina Panthers. So great gentleman, very humble, and just a great role model. So we echoed that on behalf of the city, and it was a lot of fun. Everything else is forward-looking. It's going to be busy, as we've already noted. So I think most of us will be attending the California League of Cities annual conference. We'll be launching this week. Our opportunity to interact with every other city up and down the state of California. So that and many other events. Look forward to all that, and appreciate it because we know it's a heavy lift on staff and all of what the city of Brawley has to offer over the next 30 days. So we'll definitely look forward to all the fun, and hopefully when we get through it all, things will calm down after. So I'll move on to the next item, which will be our city manager's report.
As a reminder, this Saturday we have Community Cleanup Day. We'll be pulling out our message boards, if it hasn't happened already, along Main Street to be sure we complement all the public messaging that's been occurring via Nixle and our text messaging. I want to also note we have an item that Public Works and Public Safety are looking at to review with Brawley Elementary School District as it relates to Witter Elementary School, the various traffic flow challenges in and around that area. That particular topic will be the subject of a traffic safety committee. And depending on the results of that discussion, we may have an item that we prepare for you at a future date for a potential ordinance change. So the end goal being safe access to school sites and improved circulation in and around Witter Elementary School. Last but not least, I had an unexpected visit late today from Mr. Reynosa, who, as you know, has acquired a number of downtown properties. I was able to get an update on 2 properties that he owns on Main Street that I thought you might be interested in. It appears Brawley Creamery, the hope is it will be on target for an opening in advance of Cattle Call Week. So they're continuing to work through a couple of improvements as it relates to their actual food preparation activities on premises. So it's mostly through health department permitting, not necessarily city matters. But once the health department signs off, that gives us the clearances we need to allow for the issuance of a business license. So looking forward to welcoming a new business onto Main Street. Also want to note that you may have seen that the property that's next door to Christine's on Main Street. So Ciudad Plaza at the corner of 8th and Main, followed by H&R Block, Christine's, the next property over. That today you may have seen that the windows were exposed, and it will be a new retail spot for what sounds like kind of falls into the realm of holiday-related goods. So around Halloween, there'll be Halloween-related items. Around Christmas, there'll be Christmas-related items. So
Or during Halloween, it'll be Christmas already. So Halloween's actually going to be.
Yeah, there you go. The Halloween's gone.
Then they better get the Halloween out there now.
Thanksgiving in there right now, and then
it's
Christmas.
very close to opening, and apparently the interior was in great shape. You may recall there was a fire
There
there
was a
not
fire,
that many years
yes.
ago, and the city participated in a cleanup. That property was in a position of a deceased owner and no responsible party. It eventually went to sale on the courthouse steps and was picked up by Mr. Reynosa. So it's great to see the boards come off, windows get replaced, and a property come back to life on Main Street, and we're looking forward to many more along the way. Mr. Reynosa continues to look for the right fit for a tenant in the former Ellis building, and I believe council received this afternoon an invitation to a ribbon cutting for the Jiu-Jitsu studio, which is the other property that he owns on the south side of Main Street.
Busy. Yep.
So lots of good news on the Main Street front, and looking forward to much more.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fantastic.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot to add one thing. I was approached by an elderly woman regarding the alley off of between D Street and Main Street, so the old Cook's Market, I guess. She mentioned that there was a cleanup that happened behind that store.
So,
Several months back.
Yeah, we have basically had cleanups 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah.
That's about what it takes, where there are items that accumulate at the rear of the former Cook's Market. There are sometimes people who have taken up residence in the rear as well, so we do a community oriented policing project and basically add it to the regular stops of patrol. And together, between patrol and property owner, work on cleanup and removal of items when they do accumulate at the rear.
She was very grateful for that anyway.
Very good. Thank you. So we'll go to the city attorney's report.
So I was able to go by 14th and I today, and it's all cleaned up. That I think that a lot of damage was done to the structures there, but at least it's cleaned up. So be
Thank
careful.
you for all your efforts.
Appreciate your help on that.
Appreciate
one.
it.
You're welcome. I was happy to be able to do it without incurring a bunch of fees. And anyway, be careful who you rent to. If you
Yeah, the people in that neighborhood are real happy that it finally got cleaned up.
It's quite a mess.
Don't rent the same.
Very good.
Oh, don't rent this.
And our city clerk's report.
Tomorrow, we'll be having a workshop here offered by the staff from Imperial County Public Health Department, Environmental Health. It's a community event health permit workshop scheduled for tomorrow, starting at 4:30. The topic is sale of food items at public events,
That's a topic.
the food vendor application process, and permit requirements.
So council might recall the health department streamlined a lot of their permitting efforts, and this is a proactive scheduled event here in Brawley to hit vendors in North End to show them how to navigate the process for permitting. We were happy to work with the health department to offer a venue.
So
Perfect.
hopefully we have a good turnout, because there's always
We had
questions
2
about
people
that.
coming in today asking, and we've had some calls early last week.
Weren't you gonna sell tortas one time?
Very good.
Sure.
All right, thank you, City Clerk. We'll go to our next item, which is closed session. Want to thank everyone for attending tonight. We'll take a brief break and convene accordingly. Thank you.